Hey guys, Tyler here, back again to talk more about how we can grow in intimacy and closeness with the Lord. Today, I want to talk about how we can cross over the dividing line of between knowing about God and actually knowing the Lord personally, intimately in our own lives. I think that one of the things about the fall, like when we fell away from God and fell out of relationship with Jesus in the Garden of Eden, that is most insidious and deceiving is that we think that somehow when we fell, God withdrew. God became far away and he became hard and he became angry and disappointed. He started wagging his finger at us. But actually, in reality, the Lord never went anywhere. God is here with us right now in this present moment. And the fall is not was not God removing himself. The fall was us withdrawing from the one who was right here in our midst. It's like the big purple elephant in the room. He's in the room, but we're all ignoring that he's there. In Romans 1, it talks about how everyone knows God. They know the Lord. They just are not acknowledging him as God, and they're not giving him thanks for the goodness of who he is. That's part of the fall, is this self-deception. We are in denial about the fact that the Lord is right here, right now in our midst, and that he is good. He loves us. He is open to us. He's open armed to us right now in the moment. And we are, even though his goodness is here in our midst, we are not acknowledging the reality of how good we have it. I often say that we're like a fish swimming around in the vastness of the whole ocean of water, but we're oblivious to the fact that we are swimming in the water of the whole ocean because we're just so used to it. We're so immersed in it, we don't even realize what we're in. But the water that we're in is the presence of the goodness of the reality of God. And so, what I want to do today is just talk quickly about how we can cross that line from hearing stuff about God to simply knowing Him personally in our own lives. It's so easy to come to know the Lord that it's almost it could feel like someone's insulting our intelligence by telling us how easy it is, because it's like, if it were that easy to know the Lord, don't you think I would have figured it out by now? But um, it's not, I don't know how to say it except to say that it's not like it's meant to insult our intelligence. It's just that sometimes, like a fish, it's not that God is far away. It's not even necessarily that we're purposefully ignoring him, although sometimes we are. Um, but rather, it's we're so immersed in it, we're so dependent upon the Lord and his goodness that we often are just we just become completely oblivious. It's like you're not thinking about the fact, oh, like oxygen. I'm consciously appreciating how good it is to have air that I can breathe right now. We're just breathing it, right? We're just receiving the love and affection of our Father, whether we realize we are or not. So, what do we do if we want to become more aware of the reality of the living God in our midst? Well, the first thing that I recommend you doing at first, eventually you won't have to do this, but it just helps anytime you're trying to grow in a relationship with someone, to get to know them and recognize them and what they're like and how they talk to you, is just to find a quiet place. I try to find a quiet place when I really want to spend time with the Lord. Then what I do is I simply turn to Him. Uh, I think that that can sound like gobbledygook to people sometimes, right? Like, what do you mean turn to the Lord? Well, I can't reveal God to you. Jesus said very clearly in the Gospel of John that no one can come to the Father unless, or no one can come to Jesus, come to the Lord, unless the Father draws them. But I can say this: He's already here, and He is the light. If you are experiencing any light in your life, any goodness, any peace, any sense of kindness, any joy, any beauty, if there's any wonder and anything that you are thankful for and appreciate in your life, He is the one that goodness is coming from. So if you want to connect with Him, I have found I'm not talking about knowing about Him. I'm talking about actually knowing Him, connecting with the one who's already right here in your midst. I have found that one of the ways to come into that reality is simply to give thanks and to appreciate, to um, be turn in appreciativeness, in thankfulness to the goodness that is already here in your midst, because that good thing that you are appreciating, that you're turning your attention to, is like a trail of breadcrumbs. It's coming from somewhere. In fact, it's coming from someone. And so, if you will simply turn your attention to that good thing, and then, I don't know how to say it except to say, follow that trail to where it's coming from. That is a spiritual ability that is built into every human being because we have a spirit. It has the ability, just like our eyes have the ability to see, our spirit has the ability to discern where something is coming from, where the light is coming from. And it turns out if you will follow that goodness to where it's coming from, there's a person there. There's a person here, and his name is Jesus. You don't need to believe me. I'm not trying to force that upon you. I'm trying to give you a shortcut to figuring some things out. Um, but it is coming from a person. It's not a force. It's not an inanimate, I don't know, like whatever you want to call energy. It's not just an energy, it's a person. How do I know it's a person? Well, because he will interact with you. And so when you turn to the one that goodness is coming from, um, the next thing that you should do, and this is where I'm not trying to play dumb or insult your intelligence, it's just this easy. You just start talking. You just start asking questions. You just start vulnerably sharing what's in your heart. And if you will begin talking to the one who is in the light and is already here, he will respond to you. Now, I don't know how he will respond to you because that he will respond to you in a way that speaks to your heart. God knows how to communicate with his children in a way and through a language that they speak, that they understand. He knows how to talk to you. So, frequent ways that God can speak to someone. He can speak words to you. Obviously, he speaks your language. God speaks English to me often. He can also show you a picture. You can ask him a question. He can show you his answer to that question by just putting an image in your mind. The way that I find that God speaks most often to me is it's like a form of osmosis. The answer just materializes in my midst. It's just like 1 minute I was not aware of what he was saying, and the next minute it's like the whole thing is just there. I'm like, oh yeah. I think that often it's because he was already speaking to me, but I wasn't paying attention. And so when I turned my attention to him, there was the answer there waiting for me with him. So that's how God often speaks to me. But God can speak to you in so many ways. Um, One of the easiest ways for God to speak to us is through the scripture because that is God's eternal word. It's always It's always speaking. He's in there talking through it. I would say that it's important that you realize that other spirits can speak to you through the scripture, right? What did the devil quote to Jesus when he was tempting him in the desert? Scripture, right? So reading the Bible does not, just because you're reading the Bible doesn't mean that you're speaking to God. I hate to say that, but you have to be turned to the Lord. You have to know the Lord in order for the Lord to communicate to you even through the scripture. I've been accused by the devil in horrifying ways while reading the Bible. So I'm just putting that out there. Um, but all that to say, let me now put it all in a nutshell for you, okay? If you want to cross over from knowing about God to knowing him yourself personally in your life, find a quiet place, not because you necessarily have to, but because it just makes things easier. Turn to your Father. If you're wondering where he is, he's in the light. He is here in your midst already, in the light. And once you turn to him, you just start talking and you wait for his response to come to you from the light of his countenance, from the light of his presence that is already in your midst. And then the last thing I would recommend is that you write down what the Father says to you. So, what I do is I use the Notes app. Oh, that's a picture of my boys. I use the Notes app on my phone. The reason why I do that is because um, I always have my phone with me, more or less. And so if I ever want to return to the conversation that I had with the Lord, I can just go out on my phone. Whereas if I were going to use a journal, which I also have, I would not, I don't carry a journal around me with me everywhere I go, obviously, for obvious reasons, right? Another thing that writing down your conversation with the Lord, another thing that helps about doing that is it helps you start to discern the difference between your own thoughts and the thoughts that come to you from your Father, from the Father of heavenly lights. See, your thoughts come from your own head, and you know those thoughts. Whether you realize it or not, you always are having thoughts, and you're always knowing what you're thinking. And when you write down your question to the Lord and then you allow him the flow of what he is saying to you to come from the light of his presence, you will start to realize there's a conversation there. There is an interaction between your own thoughts and the thoughts that come from him. And once you start having that back and forth and you write it down, it will help you to start discerning the voice of your Father. He often speaks to us, not surprisingly, between our own thoughts. So we'll have a thought. I'm talking about now when you're not having a quiet time writing down your thoughts with the Lord. You're wondering about something. Once you know to recognize the light of His presence and His communication to you, you'll be able to recognize how His thoughts trickle in between your own. The other thing that's helpful about writing down your conversation with the Lord is that God speaks and he brings life into our hearts and into our lives. And then he wants us to step out upon those thoughts, those things that he shares with us. He wants us to step out in faith and step into the life that he is inviting us into. And when we do that, the world will oppose that calling, that invitation that he's given us. Why? Because whether we realize it or not, this world has powers and principalities that are trying to assert their own agenda in the world that opposes God's agenda. That's a reality, whether we live in awareness of it, whether we like it or not. And so you will find that once you hear the Lord's voice calling you into light and life and love and power and purpose, um, when you step out in that direction, you will find very quickly, oh, there's a reason why I wasn't already going that way. There are powers opposing that initiative. So writing down what God says helps you return to what He's called you to, and to be reinforced and encouraged. Oh yeah, You did say it like that. You did want me to do that. People are disagreeing. There's opposition in my life to what you've called me to. But I remember when I returned to that conversation what you said to me. And I feel the life that's in it. I'm going to keep going. So that I think will be helpful to you. But guys, in all of these things, as we try and grow in knowing the Lord, one thing that I want to say very clearly. Jesus said in John 10 that the enemy comes to steal and to kill and to destroy. It says he only comes to do those things. But I have come to bring men life, to bring people life. So the clearest way to know whether you are hearing from your Father who made you and loves you, actually, he delights in you and has a plan for your life, is if the word you are hearing is calling you into life. If it's not coming to you and if it's not speaking to you in a way that is bringing you alive, it's not your father. Guys, I don't care what I don't know, religious people say. Even if you are committing an egregious sin, you are way off track, like going the wrong way. God still, when He comes, your Father comes, He speaks life. He doesn't accuse, He doesn't condemn, He doesn't crush us, He doesn't like rob us of life, and He doesn't diminish us and belittle us. God is not proud, He doesn't talk down to us. He comes to serve us. He comes to love us. He might come to humble us. Like that's wrong. You shouldn't go that way anymore. But he has a way forward for us. His word still lifts us. It inspires us. He gives us a vision of a different way that is better, that we're like, "Oh, that's so much better than what I was doing. I want to do that. Can I do it, Lord?" Yes. I have a way for you. I can wash away what's been happening, what you've been doing. I can create a new path. You can do this. I am with you. I desire this for you. I've always wanted this for you. I have planned this from the foundations of the world. Before you were born, I already saw what was going to happen. And I'm calling you because I want to lead you into a better life. That's what the voice of the Father sounds like. So if you're not hearing that voice, uh, check again, turn to the light, turn to the goodness that is already in your midst. Guys, we think that God is hard, but I have to tell you, that's a different God. That, I hate to say this, but I actually love to say this, that is the devil. The devil is the accuser in our midst. Our Father calls us into life. So, anyways, I hope that is encouraging to you. I'm gonna do it here with a minute with you, um, and I invite you to join me as I turn to the Lord and listen to the voice that comes to me from the light of His presence. Join me. Guys, I just want to conclude this video by saying that wherever you're at, whatever's going on in your life, whatever is happening, whatever you've done, whatever the circumstances are that surround your life, God is already with you. He already loves you. He is already reconciled to you. The question is whether you are willing to open up to him. He was reconciled to you over 2,000 years ago on the cross. Regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've done, regardless of what you think he's like, or how you think, what you think you deserve, whatever the situation is, um, he has a good plan and he likes you. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, they're either going to be the elder son in the prodigal son parable that's like, who are you to say that God likes that wretched monster? Or you're going to be the one that thinks they're the wretched monster that screwed everything up. And you're like, God couldn't possibly like me. But what you don't understand is that God knows who you really are and who he created you to be. And he knows how easily you can step into being that person right now. The only thing that's missing is knowing him, is being in that saving relationship with him. He is the answer, and he knows it's already available. He's not overwhelmed by whatever's going on in your life. All that's required is for you to turn to him in your situation, open your heart to the one who's already here, and he will show you the way forward, which is pretty exciting. So, anyways, I hope that blesses you. God bless you guys, and hope to be back with you again soon. Till then, so long.